Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Orphanlast, aka Skylar Madison, and today we have ourselves another Noblefrugal studio collaboration video. And Noblefrugal is Noblefrugal Studio is a channel on YouTube where basically he provides tutorials on OpenTunes, and generally I tend to find his videos to be entertaining, engaging, and he's got a good bit of performance to his videos and everything like that. So there's not any point where you're going to feel like, oh, I'm falling asleep, and most of the time, generally, I find myself understanding what he's talking about. Before I even started to blog about OpenTunes, before I even started my YouTube channel being centered on artwork and animation and everything like that, I actually watched a good number of his videos, and I found them to be pretty useful. So if you're interested in watching his videos and looking at his channel, feel free to do so. Link will be supplied in the video description below. Now, what you've been watching on the screen is me adding the red back to the front of this building. Now, earlier I didn't have any real cohesive idea as to how I could do that, so I got rid of all the red. But I decided to bring back some of the red on that building, primarily because I had been looking at the building for a week, just thinking about how can I add contrast. Because if you can put contrast onto something, it serves to really just make it pop. It makes it look really good. So I put an extra effort to figure out a way how to do so, how to add the contrast, and I found that if the red was basically smack dab center on the front of the building, framing the doorway, so that anyone who wants to enter into the building definitely can see immediately at a glance where the front of the building is, as indicated by red, then that would be a good thing. And so that's why I brought the red back to that first building that I drew, first building that I kind of worked on with the flats and everything like that. It's quite frankly my favorite building out of all of the other buildings that I built or drawn in this entire video series. And I feel like it's started to look. It's by the time that this video is finished, I feel as though things are coming together pretty nicely. Now, most of this video is me continuing to work on the flats. However, there is a point where I start working with brush texturing. So basically, it's me pulling out a brush and just trying to figure out a way how to add textures to it, add visual interest, differences in say color values and everything like that. There is going to come a point where, not in this video, but there is going to come a point in the process of me creating this video where I'm going to duplicate my line work and merge it with the actual painting itself. And I mean, with the colors and everything, and I'm gonna go ahead and with my brush, probably a wet brush, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of make it so that it's not so comic booky, where there's no point where it feels like it's been inked or something like that, where I can get rid of that look. Now, this building right here, there's this one face of the building that's still facing the camera. You can see that this particular building isn't really finished being drawn, but that face, that specific face of this building, I have no interest in finishing, because I don't see it as being something that the camera should be focused on. It's just a region of the picture that the camera has no business being at. And whatever it is that you do in terms of adding detail and such like that, if it's not on the camera, then it's just going to be pointless. Now, you'll notice that there's parts of this building, and there's parts of the picture in general where there's just a blot of painting that's in a very specific shape. The reason for that is because I actually drew out a number of buildings at one point and somehow I forgot to save it or something. I don't know what the problem was, but somehow I don't have the final image. I have a JPEG version of it, and I'm not going to use that while painting it. So I decided that with Gimmick I'd use that JPEG image. Actually, no, I think it was a PNG, actually. If it was a PNG, I could have actually salvaged it. I don't know. But anyways, there's just all this, there's a little bit of work that I lost, and there's little remnants of it still kind of lingering there. And I've decided, hey, you know what, I'm just going to keep it there. Just keep the colors blocked in, and then I can go ahead and go back to the line work and go ahead and refine that quite a bit. And here you see me needing to kind of go back to the line work once again to kind of bring this window back into existence again. It's kind of irritating not being able to resume where you left off and having to redo stuff all over again. But, you know, it's fine. It's life. And I even think that I lost the footage of me drawing this stuff. I don't know what happened. It's really frustrating. Because you spend all this time trying to make things look right, make things perfect and everything, trying to make sure that everything is being recorded, and something happens, and sometimes you're just not sure what it was that happened. So yeah, not only did I lose the actual footage of me making it, but I actually lost what I made. So, I mean, at least you guys are being cued into the entire process of this thing being created, or as much of the process as humanly possible, and that sort of thing. But yeah, as for the itinerary for the week, for the weekend and everything like that, I have a number of videos coming out this week, and I think you guys are going to like it. I have actually possibly two videos that are going to be a little bit unconventional in the sense that they're not the sort of stuff that I normally cover, but they are still OpenToonz related. And as OpenToonz related things, if you're interested in OpenToonz, you know, these are two things that you'd be interested in. And here I'm applying the brush texturing using a wet brush. Just most of what I'm doing at this point, there's really no true thought process right now. I'm not really thinking about having a variety of values, because adding the light source and placing down the shadows and everything like that comes later. At least in the workflow that I've decided to go through at this point in time, I feel as though that comes later. I'm just basically making textures. As you can see, I'm kind of adding the impression that there's brick on these buildings and everything like that, and just basically what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the color that's already there, the base flat color, and I apply a brighter hue version of that specific color or value or whatever, or not value, yeah, I think it's called a hue. And I went ahead and just selected a darker one after kind of applying a lighter kind of variety in the value and such like that, and got the darker color and decided that would function as basically a basic impression of there being brick. Of course, none of this is final. I could go ahead and decide this is finished. I've seen people publish animations that have the coloring quality of some of the stuff that I've already done here, but I decided I want to do some good work. I want to show that I can do good work, really good work. And, you know, I would have this project finished by now if this was the only project that I have going on, but, you know, people aren't subscribed to me to exclusively watch me draw on Krita. They're subscribe to me primarily because of open tunes and such like that. And really, my speed painting videos are the videos that get the least number of views. So, you know, I'm after the broader audience and the thing that I have the most interest in, which is animation itself. So I have other projects. I have projects on hold and such like that. Now, when doing masonry, a common term that they say is get your leads up, which is basically saying do your corners first. And I found that while working on this building, regardless of if you're drawing the image or painting it, it's probably best you do the corners first, because it leaves a good impression of what's there. And so you can go ahead and just kind of bounce around, kind of continue to leave the impression of brick. Now, later on, I'm going to be grabbing brick textures from photographs and kind of overlaying them on with a nice blending mode, and it'll turn out looking good. And even though it'll start looking really good, what'll happen when I apply the photo texturing is it'll stop actually looking like an actual painting. It'll just look like some weird photoshopped thing, some oddly photoshopped thing. So I'll be bringing back the painting with the brush and the clone tool and everything like that. So this is all stuff that we have to look forward to. Now this a lot of the work that I did with this particular rooftop, a lot of the work that I did wound up kind of going away. I wound up using a vanishing point at the top and thinking, hey, yeah, I can go ahead and just erase every other vertical line, and that'll leave an impression of this having like shingles and such like that. But I found that I didn't like the way it looked, and so I decided, okay, mainly just a brush texture at this point. Maybe I might be able to get more if I were to take a photograph of, say, roof shingles and such like that. And so I decided that'd probably be my best method in kind of, you know, getting a good texture in there, and then I'll bring the painting back from there. Now, seeing as the actual photographs are coming from my camera, me taking the photo myself, it's still originating from me in some way. So some people may accuse me of cheating or something like that, but no, I actually went out and found the photograph, so it's still mine. It's still me working on it. So this is the before image, how everything looked, and this is the after image. Everything's coming together, and I'm really liking how this piece is coming together. Anyways, guys, that pretty much concludes it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe, and if you didn't like it, please like, share, and subscribe anyways.